You'll never be anything more than a beggar." That was the line David heard almost every day on the streets of Boston. People passed by, some with pity in their eyes, others with disdain. But the words that hit hardest came from within, echoes of his own beliefs, forged by years of hardship. At 35, David lived under a bridge with a blanket donated by a church and a cardboard sign that read, "Hungry but hopeful." But the truth, hope had been fading for years. Once a high school dropout with a father lost to addiction and a mother who disappeared one winter, David had no family, no education, and no clear path. Every day was a cycle of survival: beg, eat, sleep, repeat. Until one morning, something strange happened. It was a cold Thursday. David sat outside a coffee shop, shivering, when a well-dressed older man dropped a folded $20 into his cup. But instead of walking away, the man crouched down, looked David in the eye and said, "I've been where you are. Change your thoughts and you'll change your life." David chuckled bitterly. "Easy for you to say in your fancy coat." The man smiled but didn't flinch. "That coat used to hang in a pawn shop. I was homeless too. The only difference between us is the moment I stopped thinking like a beggar." Then he stood up and walked away, leaving David frozen, not from the cold, but from curiosity. That night, David couldn't sleep. Change your thoughts. What does that even mean? He kept wondering. The idea gnawed at him like hunger. The next morning, for the first time in years, David didn't ask for money. Instead, he used that $20 to buy a notebook and a pen from a discount store. And he began to write. At first, the pages were filled with anger, at his parents, at the world, at himself. But slowly, a shift began. He wrote down questions. What am I good at? What do I know? What can I do right now? On one page, he remembered something small. When he was a teen, he used to fix broken radios and sell them in his neighborhood. That thought sparked another. He began visiting public libraries. Day after day, he sat reading books on mindset, small business, electronics repair. He watched YouTube videos in the free computer lab. One book stood out: The Power of Self-Perception. The message was clear: if you believe you are nothing, you'll act like you're nothing. That night, he tore up his old cardboard sign and replaced it with a new one. Willing to work. I fix electronics, phones, radios, speakers. Give me a chance. People began to notice. At first, it was slow. One guy handed him a broken Bluetooth speaker. David repaired it overnight, using tools from a borrowed kit at a shelter. The next day, the man returned, not just with $10, but with 2 more broken devices. Word spread. Within months, David had a steady stream of small jobs. A social worker noticed him and connected him to a local community program that helped fund small entrepreneurs. With a microloan, David bought proper tools, rented a tiny room, and set up a mobile repair stand near a busy market. But the biggest breakthrough came when a local businesswoman, Michelle, saw his stand. Impressed with his story and work ethic, she offered him a shared space in her shop to do repairs full-time. David now had a roof over his head, a growing business, and something he hadn't felt in years: dignity. But he didn't stop there. He started mentoring other homeless men, teaching them not just technical skills, but mindset. Success isn't just about what you do, he would say. It's about what you believe. 2 years after that cold Thursday, David stood on a TEDx stage telling his story. I used to be a beggar, he said, pausing for effect. Not because I had no money, but because I believed I had no value. The day I started thinking differently was the day my life changed. Not instantly, but permanently. The audience rose to their feet, many with tears in their eyes. Later that night, David returned to that same bridge, not to sleep, but to leave a box of supplies and a note for someone else in need. The note read, "Change your thinking, change your life. You're not broken, you're just becoming. And with that, life had come full circle. Moral of the story. Sometimes the most powerful change doesn't start with money, opportunity, or even help. It starts with a shift in thinking. When you believe in your worth, the world starts to respond in kind. Success in its purest form is an inside job.